Hello everybody, how are you doing? Hopefully you're doing good. So this was not the video that I wanted to make next. A lot of my family wanted me to make this video, so here I am. Let's talk a little bit about Las Vegas. For some reason, if this video gets over 20 views or something, it's not monetized. I don't want to make money off of a tragedy or anything like that. The only reason I'm doing this is just to inform my family and anyone else who is curious what it's like in the aftermath of such an event for a resident of Las Vegas. So if you don't know, Sunday night, 59 people died and 515 people got injured, approximately. What the news is saying is that there was one single shooter from the Mandalay Bay, and he was shooting across the street to the Route 91 Harvest Festival, I think. It was a country festival that was going on for like 3 days, and this happened for the last act on the very last day. Like, not to get into conspiracies or anything, but there's been a lot of people on Facebook and whatnot saying that there was multiple shootings throughout all of the Las Vegas Strip, at the Mandalay Bay, obviously, New York, Caesar's Palace, Bellagio, Aria, MGM, Planet Hollywood, and the Tropicana, which, like, there's video evidence of people like running away from like random gunshots and like the Aria and Caesar's Palace and stuff. And if that's true, then this was like an orchestrated attack. Like, don't get me wrong, the white guy that the news covered is definitely a terrorist, but like if this is true, then this is more of like an orchestrated terrorist attack, as it's taking place over like 9 casinos. If you don't know the layout of Las Vegas, then like half of those casinos are all the way on the south end of the Strip, but some of them are like kind of in like the middle-ish, like the Aria and Caesar's Palace are like in the middle, and then the Tropicana, Mandalay Bay, MGM, New York, they're all kind of like right next to each other at the back end of the Strip. And that's crazy. My parents met people that went specifically to Vegas for that festival. My parents have friends that were locked into their casinos until like 5 or 6 in the morning. Like, all of the casinos were locked down. And not to mention, again, not trying to be all conspiracy theory, but the main guy, you know who I'm talking about. I'm not going to say his name because he doesn't deserve any more attention than he's already got. But he had like 10 or 15 rifles in his room by himself, which is very, very suspicious. Because you're one person, why are you carrying hundreds of pounds of ammo and like rifles and stuff to your room if you're doing this alone? And then he had another 20 or so at his house. But the news is also reporting that there is 2 broken windows at the Mandalay Bay. But if you look at the footage from some of the eyewitnesses recording at that event, it doesn't look like the gunshots, the gunfire, the muzzle flashes line up with those 2 broken windows. And supposedly that guy had 2 rooms back to back, which is why he had the 2 broken windows. So that's really weird. And, you know, not to mention, more eyewitnesses are saying that there were gunmen on the ground at the actual festival itself with like snipers at the Mandalay Bay or something like that. Back to the point of the aftermath. So the night after the attack on Monday night, the Strip, there's pictures around that the Strip was really dark, and that vibe on Monday was crazy. It was so eerie. Like, I didn't have anybody affected by it. I didn't have any friends, no family, nobody that I knew was affected by this. But that whole day, it just felt like my eyes were just really heavy. Like I had been crying all day long, but I wasn't. So that's how it felt for me. And the atmosphere was so weird. It was just like exactly what you would expect the atmosphere to be in a city that just had the largest mass shooting in recent history. It definitely felt like it had affected me a lot, even though it didn't directly. I should say that on Sunday night, when all of this happened, I was just getting off of work. We left at like 10 o'clock, a mile away at Town Square, because that's where I work. We left from there to go home at about 10 o'clock, and then all this kind of happened a mile up the Strip at like 10:05 or something like that. So we weren't there in the vicinity of like when it happened. We had like just left. but I think that's only because it was my parents' last night in Las Vegas, so they had to like rest and whatnot, or else we probably would have been on the strip somewhere. So I went out yesterday on Tuesday, 2 days after everything happened, to just go check it out. I really wanted to go see the blood donation centers. There was like lines and loads of people, and lines all the way around the block, people trying to give blood. So I wanted to go see if there were still people lined up everywhere wanting to go do that. And people weren't lined up around the blocks anymore at the blood donation centers, but there was a long waiting list to sign up to schedule a time to go and give blood. I went to 2 different donation centers, and it's crazy the amount of people trying to go and donate their blood. Such a tragedy, unfortunately, brings people together. I was driving there and it looked like someone's car died, and there was a cab and another random car there trying to help her. On every single electronic billboard that I saw, there was something about the attack. There was something saying like Vegas Strong, that's one of the hashtags going around, or Vegas Love Army, that's another hashtag going around. There's stuff saying like pray for the victims, thank you to the first responders. And you know, if it wasn't for the first responders, a lot more people would have potentially been killed or injured, because the first responders they went from hearing about gunshots, not knowing where they're coming from, to being at the guy's hotel door, knocking it down within like 13 minutes. So that's pretty amazing. There's so much support going on everywhere. Like I said, all of the billboards have something positive. They're spreading love. The billboards down the strip itself are telling people to go and donate blood. Uber and Lyft were giving free Uber rides to blood donation centers for 3 days. So that's really helpful, especially since this is one of like the cities that has the most tourists going in and out. So that like boosts somebody's chances that has a rare blood type of getting blood. At least that's how I see it. I know that Paris turned off their Eiffel Tower for a night in support of Las Vegas. I went over to like the memorial that's as close as you can get to where the festival was held at. It's kind of like in the median, and there was so many flowers and candles and a whole bunch of people there. I stayed there for like half an hour or like an hour or something. I don't really know, but there was so much positivity there. There's a lot of heartbreak there. There was like a group of like 10 people that came down from California because they're with the church trying to offer prayers and like kind of counseling in a way, like grievance counseling to people that needed it. But one of like the drawbacks from that was that every single news station possible was there. Like, yes, it spreads awareness, but they're there for views and ratings and stuff. Like, there was literally like 30 different news media outlets there trying to take video of something. Going to the grocery store randomly, I'm sure a lot of the grocery stores in Las Vegas are doing this. They're offering you to round up your total in order to raise money in donation of all of the victims and families affected. There has been multiple GoFundMes. The official GoFundMe for the victims raised a couple $1 million. And then I know Casey Neistat had a GoFundMe that last time I checked it, it was at $250,000. So there is so much money being raised to the victims. So that's not what they have to worry about. There's so much love going on. There's Snapchat filters. Okay, you can't see it, but it does say Vegas Strong. There is a lot of positivity going on. So that's great. It really is. And that's also all that I know. There's some conspiracies going around where you see the police on the police scanners from that night saying that there's multiple shooters, but the media is only covering one shooter, and the media started off covering all these different like events going on in the different casinos, and they took that back and shushed everyone that talked about it. So, but then there's a lot of positivity, and there's a lot of love, and I thought I would just tell my family and anybody else who is interested in how it's like living in Las Vegas right now.